What if the ultimate symbol of a billionaire's status was actually a carefully constructed illusion? In the elite circles of high horology, a name like Vacheron Constantin represents more than just a watch. It represents a membership in the holy trinity of Swiss watchmaking, alongside Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet. But a specific timepiece discovered within the estate of one of the world's most notorious financiers, a man who owned a private island and a fleet of jets, has sent shockwaves through the collecting community. The dial of this reference 42005 Malte dual time boldly screams 750 Geneve, signaling a case forged from solid 18K gold. Yet, under the cold light of a forensic lens, the metal tells a story of deception that mirrors the life of the man who wore it.
Could you please give us your name?
Jeffery Epstein.
In this deep dive, we are going to expose the color mismatch phenomenon, a metallurgical smoking gun that proves this watch was never a masterpiece of Swiss engineering. We will explore how, despite having access to limitless funds, this individual possessed a piece where the interior metal, the core hidden beneath the surface, does not match the exterior finish. From the weight of the alloys to the misaligned movement, we are deconstructing the anatomy of a fake that was meant to hide in plain sight. By the end of this investigation, you'll understand that in the world of the ultra-rich, the most expensive things aren't always real, and the truth is often buried just beneath the plating. To understand why a Vacheron Constantin Malte dual time, reference 42005, would be found in the collection of a billionaire, you have to understand the prestige of the brand itself. Founded in 1755, Vacheron Constantin is the oldest watch manufacturer in continuous operation. The reference 42005 is a regulator-style watch, a layout historically used by clockmakers to set the time of other clocks due to its extreme legibility. For a man living in a multi-million-dollar island estate, this watch fits the executive persona perfectly. It isn't flashy like a diamond-encrusted Rolex. It is understated, intellectually complex, and whispers old money to anyone who recognizes the flared, stepped lugs and the signature Maltese cross on the dial. However, the prestige of the 42005 is built on its materials. An authentic version of this timepiece is crafted from solid 18K gold, indicated by the 750 hallmark. This means the case is gold all the way through, from the polished exterior to the hidden interior walls of the lugs. When a billionaire buys a watch like this, they're not just buying a clock, they're buying a tangible asset of precious metal. But in the case of the specific piece found in this high-profile estate, a strange anomaly began to emerge. Despite his wise wealth, the watch began to show signs of a metallurgical split personality. While the outside gleamed with a golden luster, the inside revealed a secret that no billionaire's watch should ever have.
Final watch I found to be very controversial for a man like Jeffrey Epstein. This is what wants to look like is a Vacheron Constantin, a regulator chronometer, basically a super complex watch. This watch guaranteed a fake. Really cool way of telling time with the hours on the top at 12 and the minutes with the center dial. How do I know this? This watch is fake. The colors don't match, the button on the side don't match either. If you look at 9 o'clock, you can see the famous Vacheron Constantin.
In the world of forensic horology, there is no greater tell than a failure of metallurgical integrity. When you examine an authentic Vacheron Constantin Malte dual time, you're looking at a piece that is crafted from solid 18K gold. In Swiss watchmaking, the 750 hallmark isn't just a number, it is a legal guarantee that 75% of the metal, all the way through to the core, is pure gold. If you were to take a saw to a real 42,005, the metal on the inside would be the exact same buttery, rich yellow as the polished surface on the outside. This consistency is the hallmark of true luxury. However, the specific piece found in this billionaire's estate revealed a startling color mismatch that immediately signaled a counterfeit. When investigators looked closely at the inner walls of the lugs and the interior of the caseback, the story changed. While the exterior was polished to mimic a high gold finish, the interior was a dull, off-color gray silver. This is the definitive smoking gun of a base metal replica. The watch was essentially a costume piece, a cheap brass or steel core that had been electroplated with a thin skin of gold. For a billionaire living in a multi-million-dollar mansion on a private island, owning a watch where the inside doesn't match the outside is a staggering irony. It suggests a facade of wealth that, like the watch itself, was only skin deep. Truth is often stranger than fiction. If you want to see the world's most guarded secrets exposed, hit that subscribe button and join our investigators. We're just getting started. In the world of high-stakes horology, your eyes can be fooled, but your hands are rarely. An authentic Vacheron Constantin Malte dual time, reference 42005, crafted in 18K gold, has a very specific, authoritative heft. Pure gold is roughly 2.5 times denser than stainless steel, giving a genuine piece a weight of approximately 99 to 135 grams, depending on the specific metal and strap configuration. When you hold a real Vacheron Constantin, it feels like a solid, purposeful object. It has what collectors call the gravity of wealth. The piece discovered in the billionaire's estate, however, failed the physical test before it ever reached the lab. Despite its massive appearance, it felt hollow. Because the core of the watch was made from a cheap base metal, likely a copper or zinc alloy, it lacked the molecular density of true 18K gold. Even with a thick layer of gold plating, a counterfeit cannot mimic the gravitational pull of the real thing. It's the difference between holding a lead brick and a piece of painted pine. For a man who lived in a multi-million-dollar island mansion, wearing a watch that felt flimsy on the wrist is a staggering psychological tell. It suggests that the owner was more concerned with the image of power than the substance of it. If you ever find yourself holding a billionaire's watch that feels like a toy, remember, gold doesn't just shine, it weighs. Are you starting to see the cracks in the facade? Like this video if you've ever spotted a fake that everyone else missed, and stay tuned, the most shocking reveal is next. If the color mismatch is the smoking gun, then the hallmarks are the fingerprints of the fraud. On an authentic Vacheron Constantin 750, the markings on the caseback and between the lugs are a masterclass in Swiss precision. These aren't just decorations, they're legal certifications. The Maltese cross, the 750 purity stamp, and the tiny Helvetia, which is the Swiss gold hallmark, are struck into the metal with heavy machinery. This creates deep, crisp, and permanent indentations with sharp, clean edges that catch the light perfectly under a 10x loop. In contrast, the Epstein piece featured markings that looked like they were drawn on with a pen. Instead of deep struck hallmarks, the counterfeiters used cheap laser etching. Under magnification, the edges of the Maltese cross were blurry and uneven, with burned edges common in low-cost laser engraving. Even more damning, the 750 mark on the fake was shallow and often misaligned. When you combine this with the color mismatch we discussed earlier, you see a watch that was never meant to be inspected by an expert. It was designed to be seen from 6 feet away, across a dinner table or a boardroom, where the blurriness of the hallmark would be hidden by the sparkle of the plating. It is a watch designed for someone who believes that no one will ever dare to look too closely at a billionaire's wrist. The final and most insulting deception of this counterfeit Vacheron Constantin lies beneath the sapphire crystal, the movement. An authentic caliber 1206 is a work of art. It features Côte de Genève, Geneva stripes, hand-beveled edges, and an 18K gold oscillating rotor that spins with a silent, fluid grace. When you listen to a real Vacheron Constantin, you hear a high-frequency, almost musical hum. It is the sound of 31 jewels and hundreds of hand-finished parts working in perfect synchronization. But the Billionaire's fake had a heartbeat that sounded like a cheap kitchen timer. Instead of a high-end Swiss caliber, these replicas often house generic, mass-produced movements with zero decoration. There are no hand-polished bridges, there's no 18K gold rotor. Instead, the movement is a stuttering mechanical mess that ticks loudly, a sound that is considered an absolute sin in luxury watchmaking. Even worse, the dual time and regulator complications on these fakes are often purely cosmetic. The subdials may move, but they're not synchronized, and the day-night indicator is often just a painted disc. It is a watch that tells the time, but it tells a lie with every second. It proves that even for someone living in a mansion on a private island, the heart of their most prized possession was nothing more than a hollow, ticking deception. Knowledge is power. Share this video with a friend who loves luxury watches so they never get caught by the Genève lie. As we close the case on this forensic investigation, we are left with a chilling realization. A watch is more than just a tool to